Hello, I'm Peter Bergman. This is my official YouTube channel. I'll be updating you with the latest news, so please subscribe to my channel.
Welcome back to the channel, besties. Today is a spectacularly unhinged day in the soap universe, and we are skipping the pleasantries because the tea is actively boiling over and scalding me. Grab your emotional support water bottles because we are diving straight into the absolute madness that just dropped. My jaw is literally on the floor right now. Besties, we need to hold a literal intervention right now. I am sitting here in the dead of night. My eyes are completely bloodshot, and I am physically shaking because of what just graced my screen. Oh my God. I cannot even process the sheer magnitude of the chaos that the writers just unleashed upon us. Diane Jenkins has just returned, and when I tell you she didn't just walk through the door, she literally manifested like a trauma-soaked final girl from an A24 horror movie. She burst back onto the scene with both of her hands covered in wounds, clutching literal, undeniable proof of Patty Williams' absolute psychotic guilt. I am screaming. I am actually ascending into another dimension right now because this is the exact kind of high-stakes, unhinged soap opera drama that we have been begging for since the Stone Age. Then we have to talk about the sheer visual impact of this return. Totally, they went all out for this cinematic masterpiece. Imagine the scene. The lighting is moody. The tension is thick enough to cut with a chainsaw, and in walks Diane. Her hands are absolutely mangled. We are talking deep, visceral wounds that scream, "I just fought for my life in a literal ditch." Yet, despite the physical trauma, she is holding on to this piece of evidence like it is the Holy Grail. It is giving absolute survivor energy, no cap. I was literally pausing the screen, zooming in on her hands, trying to decipher if those were defensive wounds from a brutal physical altercation with Patty, or if she had to claw her way out of some underground bunker that Patty locked her in. Mainly, I am just obsessed with the fact that Diane, the undisputed queen of surviving the unsurvivable, has once again proven that you cannot keep a bad B times TH down. She is the ultimate cockroach of Genoa City, and I say that with the highest level of respect and admiration. Hot take. But I am actually ascending at the thought of Patty Williams being the one behind all of this. Patty, the absolute terror of our childhoods. If you have been a day one stan like me, you know that whenever Patty Williams is involved, the plot is going to spiral into psychological thriller territory so fast your head will spin. We all remember the stuffed cats, the poisoned wedding cakes, the absolute sheer unpredictability of her mind. So for Diane to be the one to finally corner her, to endure whatever horrifying torture Patty put her through, and to escape with the literal receipts, it is a masterclass in television. I am hitting record right now because if I don't vent this into the universe, I am going to spontaneously combust. The fact that Diane managed to secure this evidence, whatever it is, a blood-stained confession, a torn piece of Patty's signature clothing, or a frantic diary entry while her hands were being shredded, is low-key the most badass thing I have ever witnessed on this franchise. Wait, I'm literally yapping right now. Let me take you down a quick story time rabbit hole because my brain is basically a buffering wheel right now. Do you guys remember back in the day when Diane faked her own death and we all thought she was bludgeoned by a rock in the park? I remember sitting in my living room, literally screaming at the television because the suspect list was a mile long. We had Nikki, we had Phyllis, we had everyone and their mother looking guilty. And then she just popped back up years later like, surprise, bitch. It was iconic. But this is entirely different. Let's get back to the actual tea. This isn't a calculated, glamorous return from the dead. This is raw. This is bloody. This is Diane, stripped of her designer suits and reduced to pure primal survival instinct. She didn't scheme her way out of this. She fought tooth and nail against a woman who is fundamentally detached from reality. Yet, I have to pause and ask, is it just me, or did they completely fumble the bag on this one if they don't immediately tie this into the rest of the Genoa City canvas? Think about the ripple effects, squad. We have Phyllis currently spiraling out of control, throwing a massive pity party at society because Daniel rightfully clocked her victim mentality. Sharon is out here trying to play therapist, telling Phyllis she needs to take control of her life after the Newman Enterprises disaster. Imagine Phyllis's face when she finds out that while she was crying over losing a corporate desk job, her ultimate nemesis, Diane, was out here fighting a literal horror villain and surviving the humiliation. Phyllis is going to absolutely lose her mind, and I am here for every single second of that petty, jealous meltdown. I need the writers to give us a scene where bleeding, battered Diane walks past a complaining Phyllis. It would be cinematic gold. Totally. We also have to consider how this aligns with the absolute madness happening over at the Newman Ranch right now. Victor is currently playing jigsaw with Matt, locking him up, letting him shower, and putting him through some rigorous psychological test of sincerity. Like, Victor is out here running a literal black site interrogation facility in his living room while Nick is pulling his hair out, worrying about Nikki and the Chancellor hand over to Lily. Lily is out here celebrating her massive corporate victory with Kane Ashby, completely oblivious to the bloodbath happening on the other side of town. And meanwhile, Diane is out in the wild, bleeding from her hands, holding the key to taking down Patty Williams. The juxtaposition of Victor's calculated, sterile control games versus Diane's messy, bloody fight for survival is low-key brilliant. It shows exactly who is actually in the trenches doing the dirty work. Victor thinks he's the puppet master, but Diane is out here rewriting the entire script with her own blood. Then, let's deep dive into the psychology of those wounded hands. Besties, the hands. Hands are symbolic of agency, of control, of shaping one's destiny. For Diane to return with her hands completely destroyed, it visually represents the extreme loss of control she suffered at the hands of Patty. Patty didn't just try to kill her, she tried to strip Diane of her ability to fight back, to manipulate, to grasp onto power. But Diane, in an act of pure defiance, used those broken hands to secure the evidence. It is poetic cinema. It is Shakespearean tragedy mixed with a modern-day slasher flick. I am literally shaking just thinking about the acting choices here. The way she must have stumbled into town, the adrenaline wearing off, the sheer agony setting in, but the triumphant glint in her eye because she knows she won, she got the proof. Patty is finished. Let's really unpack what this evidence could possibly be, because my mind is running in a million different directions. What if it's not just a physical object? What if Diane managed to steal Patty's personal journal? We all know Patty has a history of documenting her delusions. Imagine the absolute goldmine of unhinged thoughts written in frantic, looping handwriting. If Diane had to literally pry that journal out of Patty's hands while they were fighting in whatever abandoned warehouse or creepy basement Patty was holding her in, that explains the severe lacerations on her hands. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a piece of physical evidence from a past crime that Patty thought was buried forever. The implications are staggering. If Diane has proof of something that connects Patty to other unsolved mysteries in Genoa City, this isn't just a win for Diane. This is a foundational shift in the entire show's history. I am literally hyperventilating at the thought of the flashbacks we are going to get. We need a full, unedited flashback episode showing exactly how Diane got those wounds, step by bloody step. Then we have to talk about Patty's inevitable reaction when she realizes Diane is gone and the evidence is missing. Patty is not the type to just sit back and accept defeat. She is going to completely snap. If you thought Patty was dangerous before, imagine a cornered Patty Williams who has nothing left to lose. She is going to descend upon Genoa City like a biblical plague. I am low-key terrified for everyone in town. Noah might want to beef up security at the Shadow Room's grand reopening because a psychotic, revenge-fueled Patty crashing the party is exactly the kind of collateral damage this show loves to orchestrate. Audra thinks she's untouchable, but she has no idea what a real monster looks like. Holden's warnings about Sienna Bacall are going to look like child's play compared to the threat of Patty Williams on the loose. This is the ultimate storm brewing, and Diane is the lightning rod standing right in the center of it all. Mainly, I am just terrified that the Genoa City Police Department is going to completely botch this investigation. We all know GCPD stands for Genoa City's Poorest Detectives. Diane hands them the evidence on a silver platter, literally bleeding all over their front desk, and they are probably going to be like, are we sure this isn't a forgery? I swear to God, if they doubt her after she sacrificed her epidermis for this cause, I will riot. I will march down to the studio with a picket sign. Diane has a history of lying, yes. We know she is a problematic fave. I stan her, but I am not blind to her toxic traits. But you do not fake 2 shredded hands and a trauma stare that could curdle milk. The squad knows what I'm talking about. You can't fake that level of exhaustion. Hot take, but this is exactly why soap operas will never die. Where else are you going to get this level of unhinged, high camp drama? You have Audra Charles over at Crimson Light suddenly acting like Mother Teresa because Malcolm got out of the hospital, while Holden is looking at her like she grew a second head. You have Noah hyping up the reopening of the Shadow Room, completely unaware that his city is about to become a literal crime scene investigation unit. And then, boom! Diane Jenkins stumbles out of the shadows looking like Carrie at the prom, ready to send Patty Williams to a maximum security psychiatric prison for the rest of eternity. The tonal whiplash is exactly what I crave. It is my lifeblood. I am sitting in my bedroom at 3 a.m. screaming into a microphone because these fictional characters have a complete chokehold on my sanity. So, what happens next? What is the evidence? Is it a recording of Patty confessing to her crimes? Is it the murder weapon? Is it a creepy, deranged scrapbook Patty made detailing her entire psychotic plan? Whatever it is, it better be bulletproof. And I need someone to get Diane a medic, a stiff drink, and a Medal of Honor. She has single-handedly saved this sweeps period. The writers better not fumble this bag. They better give us the dramatic courtroom showdown, the screaming matches, the psychological warfare. Besties, we are in for the ride of our lives, and I will be right here spiraling with you every single step of the way. Drop your wildest theories in the comments, because my brain is officially fried and I need you guys to validate my hysteria. Until next time, stay messy, stay obsessed, and never ever trust Patty Williams.
Thank you for watching my video. I will be updating regularly with the latest news, so please remember to subscribe to my channel to support me.